Showdown in Brawl Stars is a game mode that many consider to require little skill, or at least that's what most players say. So today I've gathered 1,000 people to find out which of them is actually the best Showdown player in Brawl Stars, and the winner will get a Pro Pass. Yes, a tournament where anyone could participate, from pro players to noobs. In fact, anyone could win. The rules are pretty simple. The map we'll play on will be Safety Center. People can use any brawler to win. No brawler is banned, and it's also not forbidden to use buffs, hypercharges, or any strategy that might be pretty sneaky. Since everyone will play matches with 9 players and a tournament admin, this is to prove the legitimacy of the matches. So, yeah. That being said, all that's left is to start playing and see how it goes. Gailan! Because yes, winning is winning, no matter what. Because we already know that in Showdown, anything can happen. And so after saying this, let's start with the first round. With more than 1,000 people playing at the same time, the first round was packed with players, each with their own different strategies. Notably, across all the matches, most players used short-range brawlers or those with strong close-range damage, such as Shelly, Bull, Lily, and Cordelius. Brawlers that could take you out in a second if they catch you at close range. This is because if you want to win in Showdown, obviously you need to win in close combat, which is what happens most in these game modes. Since yes, a lot of people put support brawlers aside a bit. In fact, I expected someone to pick Colonel Ruffs, but well, this isn't always the best thing you can do. The first person to die in this challenge was pretty unlucky, to say the least. Yeah, I'm sorry, Samuel. You were the first kill of the event. You died in a really funny way, but don't worry, we'll remember you for that. Leave a big like and also subscribe for Samuel7. And well, the matches in Showdown honestly had quite a few different strategies to win. Some people went to the center of the map to get as many boxes as possible in the shortest amount of time, and others just prayed to be lucky enough not to be found. There were people who, like real pros, didn't care at all and ended up playing super aggressive. But this was pretty difficult, since a small mistake or a little carelessness could make them lose everything in the match. Taleres was about to lose because of a camping Lily. And well, camping isn't forbidden, remember that. Many were using the Lily strategy to get closer to their opponents and of course catch them off guard, making the insta-kill a strategy that worked pretty well, since some people managed to get a kill this way. But well, we also know that in survival, it's not all about hate. Meanwhile, some players were making love, not war. Well, maybe not. The battles were so intense that some, because of the pressure from the zone, ended up dying. And others, like Juno, didn't overthink things. They used a simple but unbreakable spell. The main Edgar special. Yes, the Edgar mains present in this video, of course, that couldn't be missing in true survival. But as time went by, the matches kept getting tighter and fewer people were left. Things were getting pretty interesting, since it was a duel to see who would die first and who would be left out. Only the top 3 spots would move on to the next round. And this often made the matches end up really close. Let's see who the heck would win. Or would you just have to retreat to avoid that player who farmed power cubes from targeting you, since of course you could die in seconds. Anyway, with a lot of kills and way too many people eliminated, round number 1 ended, leaving us with a total of 23 groups, which means that around 800 people were eliminated. If you are one of these 800 people, thank you for participating, we really appreciate it. But let's see what happened in the next round. The next round was a round that started off strong, since this round was known for leaving behind several people who maybe just got a bit lucky. In the previous match, they weren't caught camping, and they were just messing around during the whole previous match. But in this match, the issue of counter started to become really noticeable, since a lot of people ended up losing because of this. Also, short-range brawlers ended up losing, and long-range brawlers were picking them off, either by teaming up or just because of the match itself. But of course, the campers didn't take long to show up, since there were people who took camping to a whole new level. Well, we all know that thanks to brawlers like Cordelius and Lily, it's very easy to take this to another level, since these brawlers were crucial for this challenge. Well, it seems that both Cordelius and Lily were the most efficient options. Well, among most of the players who ended up advancing to the next round in this challenge, many were using these brawlers, which surprises me a bit, since brawlers like Kit, Edgar, or Bull, who are brawlers people used to camp a lot in this game mode, didn't end up making it to the next round. Brawlers that also had a lot of damage, like the Shellys, didn't make it to the next round either. Even many people who had brawlers like Griff, who's also a brawler with a lot of damage, they didn't make it to the next round. Or people who had the buff on their side also didn't make it to the next round. But anyway, this was actually a pretty interesting experiment, leaving us with brawlers that I honestly wouldn't expect to see in the next round. Well, after this, we would finish the second round and be left with only 8 groups. And we would start round number 3. In round number 3 of this tournament, the matches started off pretty relaxed. We saw several players with brawlers that deal a lot of damage. In fact, we even had a content creator hiding around there. But what surprised me the most was seeing Chucky09, who made it this far with Doug. A brawler I didn't expect to see at this stage of the tournament, but you know, it's Dog. Dog is God. And well, looking a bit more at Chucky's gameplay, I could see why he made it this far. He had the strategy of going to the center of the field and grabbing as many power cubes as possible. Although, of course, there were times when they wouldn't let him, since in this round, Luto and Wixers weren't going to allow it, with Chucky being trapped between 4 brawlers. Oh my god. And with a dog, this was definitely going to be impossible to win. But, of course, this wasn't the only person who was suffering, since Daniel was down to just 45 health, with Lily fighting against a Nani. And yes, long-range brawlers once again making life impossible for short-range brawlers as well. I honestly never expected that a Nani would make it this far in the challenge. But if we go back to Chucky, we see that he's seriously about to die. The match is more intense than ever. No one is giving up any ground. The zone keeps moving forward, and this is really going to get worse. Things are really tough, Arden, and Lutox is about to get the first kill, but well, Chucky! Honestly, Chucky is the best doggy main I've ever seen in my life, especially in Showdown. And now we see that actually the one who was in trouble was Loa, because there's Nani shooting at him. He doesn't know where to go. Will he really be able to get out? Oh my god, Chucky the goat, man! And well, this match kept going and going and going. And there was no end in sight. The zone was actually really small, but then it happened. Sad. I'm sorry, Chucky. We'll miss you. Thank you for being the best dog my eyes have ever seen. In another match, we saw Gatito and Dina Pro, who showed up with a Miko, a brawler I never expected to see here. And on the other hand, there was my buddy Zoe, and I won't say anything about that name because then he goes and removes the Supercell code. Suck it! But interestingly, the buddy pushed hard toward the center to get as many boxes as possible, so while Chris and Dandy were having the fight of their lives, but were playing tactically. Let's call it that, since a small mistake of just a few seconds could cost you the match. Just like what happened to Aldrin, who perished at the hands of Chris. And while the whole match was being played in the center to see who would survive, Gatito was farming aura in a corner. Many will say he's a champion, but while the fighters battle, the king observes and the god analyzes. Too bad this strategy failed for Gatito, who we liked, because by camping he lacked cubes and died, leaving Chris Scorpion and my Palo as the chosen players for the next Scorpion round. And honestly, just because of the name, I'd like the stick to win. Now, I'm a fan of Palo. And that's how we made it to the semifinals of the tournament, where only 27 players were left, and things were getting pretty interesting. In the first final, the winners were Irei Kali, Irei Death, and Nico Void. Unfortunately, this recording got messed up again, but it's incredible that they made it so far. Meanwhile, in the second semifinal, the fight was really, really close. Everyone was in the center of the map, trying to get as many cubes as possible, with 5 people waiting. The opponent's mistake, but let me tell you that sometimes greed isn't so good. Tadokari and JL were fighting for the power cubes in the center. Something really surreal happened in the tournament. I think this was the only kill where they eliminated each other, being the first kills of this match. And meanwhile, the stick was teaming up. God Palo! How much he loves the stick. They made a joke about him again. Tim! God Palo, how much he loves the stick. They made a joke about him again. Obviously, this is because he's the GOAT. I mean, Palo is so humble that he helps others. Amazing, he's been my guy forever, not to play favorites. But let's hope Palo wins, obviously. Oh, he's already dead. Can we say someone killed my Palo? Well, let's stop with the double entendre jokes. In the end, there were only 4 players left, and sadly JBG was the last one to die in this match, sending Michael, Mijael, Brawl, Scorpy, and Luto X King to the final. Luto XK. And what happened in the last semifinal? Well, in the other semifinal, they also started off pretty strong, with Danny and Benjamin fighting for the center of the map to get the most power cubes. And even though he had the counter, the one who lost was Danny, who ended up losing thanks to a masterful play by Benjamin. And, well, after this kill, Benjamin became ultra mega strong with 10 power cubes. Let's see who the heck was going to beat him. Tris and Dorado pressured Leon Leonxar, hoping he would lose even Dorado. And he made a good team. But this alliance wouldn't last long, since Dorado would lose at the hands of Tris, a betrayal that was sealed when Tris spammed emotes at Dorado. You're toxic, but oh well. The match led to Gamer Asaf being completely cornered, dealing with Benjamin and Tris, who both had more power cubes than him. This was a crucial and very tough moment in the match, but don't worry, Gamer still has an ace up his sleeve. What a cowardly escape! Bye! Well, this didn't really help much, since after Gamer's death, we finally have the final 3 finalists. Benjamin, Tris, and a secret 3rd finalist, Daniel! And while all this was happening, he was just farming aura in the background. Look, Benjamin! You're gonna need more hands to take me on! And that's how we the finalists for this event, leading us to the final of this tournament, where one of these players could win a pro pass in an epic way and be crowned as the best showdown player. If you've made it this far in the video, chances are you would like to participate in an event like this. Well, let me tell you. Now we're organizing another event where we're going to find out who is the best Edgar main. This is also thanks to our collaboration with Bonox. So if you want to participate in this new event, just go to the link I left in the description, register on Bonox, go to the BNX Arena section, and choose the Nagi SS tournament. Remember, this isn't the only tournament you can join, but it will be the next one featured on the channel. Will we discover who is the greatest Edgar main ever? Maybe it could be you. So go ahead and register to participate, since spots are limited. But alright, enough with the announcements. Let's see how the final went. Well, from the very beginning, you could tell this was going to be a really interesting match. Because as soon as the game started, Chris and Scorpy were already fighting over just one box. Meanwhile, in the center, several players were fighting over all the boxes that were there, while others were just hanging around. And honestly, Chris didn't have it easy at all, since 2 assassins were surrounding him, leaving him little room to move forward. It was really hard for him to get out of this. So why?
Why? No!
Chris was the first to die in the finals. I'm not criticizing Chris, since reaching this stage in the tournament is already a big achievement. Well, as you can see, the match was as close as it could be. Literally, in the center of the map, there were 7 brawlers waiting, hunting their prey like predators. And there wasn't any confrontation, because even the slightest movement could trigger a chain reaction of fights, thanks to the brawlers' abilities. Many managed to stay in the match. But something fundamental happened here, and it was that the super that Luto used on Mijael was crucial to open up the match. This forced Mijael to move if he didn't want to be annihilated. But he moved right to where Morte was. Mijael was almost eliminated by Morte, but luckily Charlie's super saved him from being taken out. Or at least that's what we thought, because when he came out of the super, Morte damaged him, but Mijael used Charlie's hook and saved himself, and Luto came in to kill Morte. After this, he waited to finish off Mijael and ended up getting 2 kills. But while all this was happening, on the other side of the map, Daniel took Adikolas out, attacking him by surprise with a hypercharge that didn't give him time to react. There were only 5 brawlers left, and out of all of them, the unluckiest was Pulse, who didn't have a single power cube. Let's hope nothing bad happens to him. Oh, he's already dead. With the match now down to just 4 participants. 2 Cordelias and 2 Lilies. One of them will win the tournament. Well, the end of the match was the most epic part of this whole tournament. That's how Luto was proclaimed the best showdown player. Congratulations, bro, and congratulations also to everyone who participated, because you all made this a great event in Brawl Stars. If you really enjoyed the video, well, go participate in the next event on Bonox's page. And if you want to see more of these tournaments, I'll leave you a playlist with all the tournaments I've done in collaboration with Bonox. And of course, some really crazy challenges from my channel. See you next time.